Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and if you know me, you know I'm a Star Wars fan. I have been my entire life, and I want it to be great again, right? I want Star Wars to be great again, but this article here on Bloomberg makes a lot of sense when it says Star Wars is struggling to win over the next generation of kids. And that is true. I really honestly believe that is true because Disney's old model for everything in regards to marketing and merchandising is not working. I have said multiple times that I am the absolute target demographic. I mean, this is me at Disneyland a couple weeks ago when I was there, putting on some Yoda ears. I mean, look at that smile on my face. Look at that smile. That was me legitimately happy. I was legitimately happy to be at Disneyland, to be hanging out with my brother, to be about ready to go over to Galaxy's Edge. And that's a pure happiness smile on my face. So why are kids having trouble getting into Star Wars? Why is Disney having trouble reaching these fans? And I think there's a lot of good reasons here. So it says that it's hard to say this as someone who grew up pretending to be Han Solo battling Vader and his stormtroopers to rescue Princess Leia, but it must be said, the kids might not be into Star Wars anymore. And it's not, I just want to quickly caveat this here. I don't think the kids aren't into Star Wars. I think the kids aren't into how Disney is presenting Star Wars. Disney is predominantly a merchandise marketing machine. It pimps merch like you're trying to get someone onto some smack. And it's not working because kids have moved over to different things. They have different interests now. The toys aren't selling outside of middle-aged men who want to collect them. And anyone who's really into Funko Pops, I have no idea. Anyway, Walt Disney Co.'s underwhelming theme park attendance last quarter was the latest sign that the intergalactic saga isn't resonating for younger generations raised on Iron Man and Fortnite. Bob Iger was so sure fans would be blasting through the door that he had instituted a reservation system for visitors to enter Galaxy's Edge, the new attraction at Disneyland, and it turned out not to be necessary. They'd overhyped Galaxy's Edge so much that when it opened in May, and they had a full damn month of reservation systems, that it just was slow. Now, they said that theme park attendance was down, but hotel spending was up and merch and food sales were up. So that's really all they care about. And I've heard there's people out there that have tried to argue. They've gone out there and they've said like, well, I mean, if you think about it, guys, I mean, if you really think about it for a second, fewer people means you get to experience more of the park, which I agree with if there was more to do. The Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride is really about it, unless you want to drop serious cash for some serious collectibles or merch. It's either ride Millennium Falcon for 4 minutes or merch. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. I was there. I was just there. Now, Star Wars toy sales popped with 2015's The Force Awakens, the start of the trilogy that united Han, Luke, and Leia with a new band of heroes, but have slumped since then. You bring it back. It was a huge thing, a huge boost, a huge selling point. Star Wars toys are back with a vengeance. And even George Lucas went like, damn, they're selling pretty hardcore right now. But have slumped anyway. So Solo, a Star Wars story, last year's spin-off featuring the backstory of beloved characters, utterly bombed. I'd say utterly. I mean, 400 million worldwide is not necessarily utterly a bomb. I guess in context with the franchise, yeah, that makes sense. The Last Jedi, the second in the new trilogy, was profitable but fell shy of its predecessor's performance. The next installment, The Rise of Skywalker, will have the very future of the franchise riding on it when it debuts in December. Look, I'm still hyped for The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, I'm going to make that abundantly clear. I ain't going to lie about it. I ain't going to tell you I don't want to see it. My ass is going to be in a seat day one, and if it's good, multiple times I'll be seeing this movie. There wasn't supposed to be such a disturbance in the Force. When Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012 for $4.05 billion, it already had a template for the intricate web of sequels and spin-offs it hoped to create around the Star Wars brand. Marvel Entertainment, acquired 3 years earlier, had rolled out a series of interrelated movies with characters who went on to join up for the blockbuster Avengers film. That was already in place, though. That was already happening before Disney bought Marvel, by the way. And I think most of us already know that. But Star Wars isn't Marvel. It's not Marvel when you go out back and you beat the EU like it's a redheaded stepchild that didn't give you rent, and then you just bury the corpse and then only pull up a little bit every once in a while to go, no, it's still alive, guys. Look, I'm cashing the checks. Anyway, it's true. So the films are supposed to combine with TV projects and the theme parks to create a virtuous cycle where fans get excited for each new iteration and can immerse themselves in the world of their heroes. There's also reason to believe Star Wars would have a similar path with its endearing droids, otherworldly life forms, and minor characters like Lando Calrissian and Boba. Minor characters. F you, Bloomberg. They have major places in my heart. And Boba Fett, who inspired their own cult followings. People, yeah, exactly. And yet neither one of them are on display in Galaxy's Edge. It's, I mean, like, Lando's still alive, right? Anyway, fan sniping. This is where it gets interesting here. So instead, some of the franchise's most dedicated fans have been sniping at the way Disney has handled their favorite characters from the old movies and the trilogy's new heroes like Rey and Poe Dameron, who just haven't inspired the same fervor among young people. With toy sales falling flat around each new installment, the Disneyland attraction, along with Star Wars Land opening at Disney World later this year, actually really later this month, are designed for much older dudes than they are for tykes. I know I don't want to say dudes. It's for people. All right, let's be fair here. Okay, you don't need to be sexist to whoever wrote this article. It's for dudes. Not for dudes. It's for everybody. With the Millennium Falcon themed ride in a cantina where you can debate whether Greedo shot first over vodka cocktails called Bloody Rancors. Iger has attributed disappointing box office figures to Star Wars fatigue, and he's pledged to slow down the tempo of releases. But that doesn't square with the success of Marvel, which reliably turns out blockbusters every 4 to 6 months, which is true. And it's not that Star Wars cannot be Marvel. And I should probably sit down and just do an actual discussion about this one day, because they totally can. Anyone who's read the EU, or even like the older comics, or even the comics right now, know what they could do with it. But it's like Disney just doesn't have any faith in their product, is what it feels like to me. Or they're expecting, like, they spent all this money and Star Wars is meant to be instantly profitable, and that's going to be like the thing. And I don't know. I don't believe Star Wars fatigue exists. Just like I don't believe that superhero fatigue exists. I think you can tackle it in different ways and have different successes or different failures. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot more support, a lot better support if you just pull your head out of your ass. That's kind of where I see it. Now, going on to say here, some people have delayed their visit to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge because they thought that it would be overwhelmed by tourists when it opened. This is what Iger said on Tuesday, saying here, nobody goes there anymore, or channeling Yogi Berra, saying nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. And you know what? It's not just that, but the tickets are $150 for the day in the park. It might have gone down now that it's August. When I was there, I spent $150 to go to one park. I didn't just go for Galaxy's Edge. I did everything else I wanted to do at the park, but I hadn't been in 8 years. And so it was very, very much more expensive than all that stuff. There's that. And you have Universal is $200 for the year. And it's packed with people, but they still get people to go there. And that's why the final part of this article here is interesting. Talking about Wizarding World. So where is everyone going instead? One clue could be the rising attendance over Universal Studios, where the Wizarding World of Harry Potter saw increases in spring break visitors last quarter, fueling sales of souvenirs and butterbeer. Disney plans to parlay the robust Marvel properties into theme park attraction of their own, but isn't giving up on Star Wars by any stretch. Along with the rise of Skywalker, the company is debuting The Mandalorian. The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson is developing a new trilogy. Sorry. And the creators of Game of Thrones are working on a movie. No, they're working on a trilogy. They're working on a trilogy. Jesus, who wrote this article might be. Yeah. Anyway, Bob Iger did here say, we build these things for the long term. As Iger said of Galaxy's Edge, or as Yoda might say, patience you must have. And he's not wrong. And I'll be fair on that one. Okay. They are building it for the long term. They are going to adapt and fix things, and they're going to build it up over time and maybe add some stuff. And I get it. I get it. It's a new land. I get it. I understand. Okay. I do. I spent the day there. I got a lot of footage, and trust me, you will see it before the end of the month, over on my Wheelman vlog channel, which I think there might be, check the community tab and you'll see some links over to that. And I'm going to be covering a lot of that. I got like as much footage as I humanly could. And it's a fun place to be. It's a fun place to go experience. You do feel like you're in a Star Wars land. You do feel like you're all those things. But it's like the cast member told me, there's nothing there for kids to keep them coming back. It is for people that are older to spend money. And I get it, at $1 billion per park, and not having the Rise of the Resistance ride there, and not having it tie in to maybe Star Wars Resistance, the animated TV show, which is actually pretty good. I recommend you check it out. And this is too far ahead in the canon to tie into The Mandalorian. And we don't even know if the Black Spire Outpost is going to have anything to do with the Rise of Skywalker. If it doesn't, it's one of the stupidest moves they could have made. But that is the world we live in. For some reason, Disney wanted to make this their own instead of relying on what people wanted. We want to create this experience. Fine, create the experience, but bring along the legacy characters. Give us a Han, give us a Chewie, they have a Chewie there. Give us a Vader, not a Kylo, but a Vader. Give us a Leia, give us a Lando, give us a C-3PO. There's one R2 unit that's in the droid shop. Like, do things, and you'll be able to find yourself in a much better position to, I think, to yield a better profit off of this and get people excited about coming back. I would love to go to Disneyland again in probably another 8 years when my daughters are old enough to enjoy it. And maybe then it'll be a lot better. But in the meantime, I have no idea. And if you're just going for the park, I couldn't recommend it at all simply for that. And I think kids are struggling because they don't just want to buy merch and buy toys, because they don't buy toys anymore. And Disney's going to learn that the hard way. The very expensive hard way. But anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later about this. Let's try to get to 200 likes. I really appreciate everyone's time, everyone's patience with this. Just watch the video. Have a good day, guys, and peace out.